So, tell me, are you, like me, someone who really sees working, at least for someone else anyway, as a chore? Do you find the matrix, quote unquote, as we see it today, as a chore? The fact that you have bills to pay, need to go work on a job in order to pay those bills. And I remember a comment that a wise man once told me. He told me that, when it comes to working in this matrix, your employer will never pay you enough to live. He'll only pay you enough to come back tomorrow. And that threw me off, man. I never will forget that. And it is true, really, isn't it? And for a lot of us younger people, us, high-spirited rebels, we find ourselves either doing a lot of delinquencies or not doing anything at all. So we'll either try our hardest to find ourselves engaged in some sort of activity, no matter how perverse, no matter how criminal, just in order to satisfy our need for autonomy, really. Just a fruitful, enjoyable life, but not at the discretion of somebody above you. I understand that. A lot of us younger people too, we look at the older lot or others who may be caught up in this matrix and don't even know it, working all the time, not thinking much about any other aspect of life apart from surviving in the matrix, which to us will seem so mundane and so unfortunate. Yet we are also subject to it, and that is until we get to know ourselves. Because in getting to know ourselves, we know what facets we have and we know how to play the game. I'm going to tell you something. I've probably said it before, but you see this life we're living in, this matrix, you need to take it as a game. You really need to take it as a video game. In terms of your senses, I've said before, we don't have 5 senses, we have more. But currently at this stage, we only have 5. So we need to, just as in a video game, unlock more senses by progressing the stage, going to another level. And the same is true for the same is true for life in general. Just the fact that until you get to know yourself, until you master the level that you currently find yourself in, you're always going to be subject to somebody above you, and you won't have the autonomy that you crave so much. There are people out there who don't crave the autonomy. So this video is specifically for those of you out there who do crave autonomy and crave more from your life, whatever that more is. So we're all subject to this matrix. But some people, through knowing themselves, are able to break that barrier and be a co-creator, if you like, of this matrix. And that's very straightforward, yet it's difficult. And that's why a lot of haters hate on people who have made it. They say, oh, they're Illuminati, they sold their soul, they did this sacrifice and this and that. No, they just got to know themselves. So because they got to know themselves, they know how to play the video game effectively. They know how to play the game effectively, so they're winning. It's as simple and straightforward as that. There's no hocus pocus about it. I can guarantee you that if you got to know yourself, and I can help you with my new service, as I said, trust me, by the end of that course, you will know exactly which direction you need to go in if you want to have a more abundant life. Abundance is not money. Money is part of abundance. So I'm not just talking finances here. I'm talking about your life from an emotional aspect, from a physical aspect, from a spiritual aspect. If you do want abundance in your life, you need to get to know yourself. Those people you look at the top and wonder how they got there, they simply got to know and accept and embrace that truth. That once you know yourself, you can know the world. So you know how to function to your benefit and to the benefit of the world. Now, some people may go down the dark road where they use it to just benefit themselves and not the world. But I would like to hope that me and everyone out there watching this video would like to benefit the world and themselves mutually. So get to know yourself. I know a lot of you out there, you look at people and you even look at yourselves and you think, what the hell is this life all about? What is this treadmill run? What is this 9 to 5, wake up, go to work, come home, go to sleep, wake up. What is this? It's so zombified, if I can make that word up. It's so zombified. And yet, those people who are quote unquote awake, quote unquote conscious, they themselves are found in this matrix and they're not autonomous. You see, it's one thing to be awakened, it's another thing to know. A lot of people out there aren't realizing that. The first part is being awakened, the second part is knowing. Knowing being the wisdom, applying your knowledge. You can be awake and see the problems that are around you, yes. But more fool you if you stay in that problem. If you don't change the circumstances of yourself and your environment, more fool you. Simply because you're aware of it now doesn't make a difference. You're caught up in the same boat as the others who are not aware. So once you become aware, you need to get to know. So just try all avenues, just get to know yourself. But one key thing, especially for us younger people nowadays, in this hustle and bustle of this world, we want to know how we can be abundant right now. We want to know how we can be effective in this world right now. And the key thing is simply to just know yourself. That's it. Because once you know yourself, you will make better decisions. You will make better paths for yourself. You will even offer opportunities. But until you get to know yourself, you'll just be a headless chicken like everybody else you see. The difference is you'll become a snob. You'll become a hater because you're so aware, but you're not making a change. You will resent it. So it's one thing to be unaware. At least with the unaware lot, they're not judgmental. But with you aware lot, you can become judgmental simply because you're not making that difference. You're just aware. You don't know. So get to know. Make that change for yourself and for the world. It's as simple as that. Drug dealers out there, they're all coming from a good place. They just want to have a better life for themselves. They don't want to go and do the 9 to 5 and work for, a nincompoop manager who talks to them like shit. I understand that. I'm the same. And I've done things in the past that I'm not, necessarily proud of or I wouldn't do now. So drug dealers, criminals, whatever, couch potatoes, lazy bums, whatever, whoever it may be, just bear that in mind, that we all know out here, at least I know, and I'll put that out there, I know you're coming from a good place. You see, people through the ego and perception may see people who do bad things on the surface as bad people. They're not bad people. They're simply manifesting what they want, which is good on the inside. They're manifesting it on the outside in a bad way. So what do we need to do as a society if we're not going to judge and make it a better world for everyone? We need to accept that they have a desire in them, and we need to find out that desire and then make sure it manifests on the outside as healthily as it is on the inside. That's all it is. People who look at people doing all sorts of things, it's just that they want autonomy, but because they don't know themselves, they're manifesting it in the wrong way. So I can guarantee you, more and more people getting to know themselves, not in a superficial or superstitious way, but rather in a pragmatic, objective manner. And once they get to know themselves, they'll make better decisions. They'll do things which are more in line with their inside, because everyone is good on the inside. It's just how the outside manifests. That's what separates us. And all I can assume is that those who manifest their insides on the outside wrong are those who don't quite know themselves. So you need to get to know yourself so that you can be as effective in the most positive way that benefits everyone, including yourself. So if you don't want to work, if you don't feel like working, if you look at people that work with pity, then just get to know yourself and help them get to know themselves too. Because you can help people awaken. Just because you're awake, it doesn't mean that you're sorted. You need to get to know yourself, but you also need to help people awaken so they can then get to know themselves. It's all about collective ascension. At the end of the day, it's all about everyone getting to know themselves and rising together. So take heed. Peace.